Hello, everybody. My name is Trent. I'm sitting here again with Betsy.
Hey.
When you hear the music, that means it is time for another episode of Never Seen It. You know, we've only been doing the music now for about, a couple of months now.
Few months.
And it always gets me hyped up. Betsy, today we're going to be covering the second in our 4-part series of 90s cult classics. Sticking with the theme here of a movie that neither of us have seen, today we're going to cover the movie Swingers. Now, Betsy, I have a feeling about this movie. I don't really think I have it about a lot of movies, but Swingers to me seems like a movie that is a lie.
Okay, how do you mean?
I feel like the movie was marketed at the time. I don't really remember a whole lot about the marketing behind it, but I feel like the marketing behind it was meant to be this 40-year-old virgin type movie, or this is like guys out on the town and all they're going to do is pick up chicks and go gambling and drinking and it's just a big old party. I don't think it's that kind of a movie.
You believe, based on your memory, that it was advertised as a rowdy, raunchy, guys' night, fun time out.
I feel like that's not true.
I don't remember this movie at all from 97, so I'm going to take your word for it. I do know that this is the vehicle that really launched the careers of Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
That's the thing I always come back to when it comes to this movie. This is not the thing I know either of them from, because I found out about this movie later after I already knew who they were. And I'm like, oh, they're so young.
As long as you're on that route there, what do you know Vince Vaughn from?
The first thing I saw Vince Vaughn in was The Lost World Jurassic Park, which came out the same year, I think.
Yeah.
But that is the first thing I saw him in. I'm trying to remember the first time I saw Jon Favreau in something.
I mean, for me, it's probably Iron Man.
It was something before that, but I can't quite put a pin in what it was. He's just another one of those guys.
Yeah, he didn't act that much.
I mean, he did in the 90s, but again, it's 25 plus years removed.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you exactly the first thing I saw him in off the top of my head. Vince Vaughn, I just remember because that was a movie we watched a ton in my house.
Yeah, and The Lost World, by the way, was a movie that I saw in the theater before I ever saw the first Jurassic Park. I didn't see the first Jurassic Park until maybe about, 10 years ago-ish.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I went to the Lost World for my birthday. I had a movie theater birthday party back when that was in the theater. I didn't remember a goddamn thing about it, much less that fucking Vince Vaughn was in the movie. My reference for Vince Vaughn was the movie Old School, back when he was doing that whole thing. That's just kind of what he got known for.
The thing you are describing as what you thought this movie was advertised as.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, I don't really know what this movie is really about.
Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what I know. Vegas.
Yeah, like the poster is Vince Vaughn with the fucking cocktail, and there's a thing of matches there.
Or they're in a limousine.
Or they're in a limo.
Depending on the poster.
Yeah. Like I said, I will eat my hat if this movie is actually all about that kind of thing. I feel like this is not that. But I guess we're going to go and find out. Betsy, do you have anything else to say before we go and watch Swingers?
I'm kind of excited about this one, but that's mostly because I don't have a clue what it is.
Yeah?
I just have heard it's one that you should see.
There we go. All right, we're going to go watch Swingers. We'll be right back. And that was Swingers. Betsy, was that movie money?
If you start using this word, I will divorce you.
Come on, it's only a 20-year-old term.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I enjoyed the movie. I wanted to smack the crap out of Vince Vaughn at certain parts of this film. Just think about all the beautiful babies, the beautiful babies, the babies, the beautiful babies, the babies, the babies, the
honey
babies,
babies,
the
the
honey
honey
babies, the honey babies.
Jesus Christ,
Their
man.
money, your money,
Shut the
money,
fuck up,
money,
man.
money. Also, henceforth, I will be referring to him as Vince Vaughn because there is only room in this podcast for one Trent.
That's right, goddammit.
It's going to be confusing as shit if I proceed to talk about this movie and keep referring to him as Trent.
I can say Trent.
I am not going to call you T.
No.
You have not.
T-money?
You are not.
Or double down?
No double down. No.
Just call me T-money.
I would like you to sign the divorce papers, please.
All right, what did you think of the fucking movie?
I liked it. I was a little concerned at the beginning because it takes just a little while, I feel like, to find the groove. I do find it funny that the one thing I knew about the movie was Vegas, and we spend the least amount of time on that sequence.
Okay, I would like to say, I wasn't wrong. I don't think I was right either about the marketing behind this because we just watched the original trailer. I remember the trailer, but in context of knowing what the movie actually is, I think the trailer was kind of a lie, but it wasn't like this big debaucherous thing that they were trying to portray.
No, I think it's just the fact that watching trailers from the 90s, especially now, they are all so one note. They made trailers exactly the same every fucking time. There's a reason there's an entire YouTube channel for the epic movie voice guy and the fake trailers and things like that.
In a world.
Because that's what it was in the 90s. And you're right. Watching the trailer for this and watching this movie are kind of different experiences.
Yeah.
It's not as drastically different as you were describing, but yeah, it takes a little while to get into the groove, and then it just turns into this series of vignettes. And as we were watching it, I turned to you and I said, I think I'm starting to get this, Trent. I think the reason this is a cult movie is because people who live in Los Angeles fucking love this movie. This felt so like an in-joke for people who live in that city.
And it's because it is actually based on Jon Favreau's real life.
He just wrote it down.
Yeah.
And then said, here, I've written the script.
And a couple of the friends in the movie are based on the real friends.
Or they are his real friends.
That's what I'm saying. Vince Vaughn and Ron Livingston are his best fucking friends. And that was based on his own experiences.
I enjoy that he changed very creatively. He changed Ron Livingston's name to Rob.
Rob.
A very big leap.
So I get what you're saying about, people who move to LA and try to do the writing thing, try to do the comedy thing, try to do the acting thing. Yeah, you're all kind of struggling, but you're getting by. And the things that really matter to you are your relationships, whether they be romantic or friendly.
But we also spend no time on them doing anything professionally. As far as I can tell from this movie, they are professional bar hoppers.
Right. I mean, the things that they do professionally is talk about the profession.
Yeah.
And usually just complaining about, I didn't get this gig or I didn't get the callback. Or
did it have to be goofy?
Right.
You're tall, dude.
Complaining about the gigs that you do get.
Yeah, or how I'm looking for representation. Oh, well, who represents you on the East Coast? I don't actually have anybody now.
The chick in Vegas knows the biz.
Yeah, she knows it better than he does, and she's not falling for your bullshit. But yeah, these guys just have this sequence of like vignettes, as it were. They're just going to this bar or that party, and it's all of the time they spend living this weird nocturnal lifestyle.
Yeah, and you pointed out he wakes up at the end of the movie at like 12:30 in the afternoon after being out all night, and you said, well, yeah, he's kind of unemployed. Like, yeah, I guess he is.
They went to Vegas on a Wednesday.
Night.
They, on a whim, decided to get in a car and go to Vegas, which is a roughly 5-hour drive.
It was already nighttime when they left their apartment, and they got there after midnight.
Yeah, that was a choice that those two guys
Vegas,
made.
baby, Vegas.
I liked the diminishing amount of enthusiasm. Like they're in the car and they're like, woo, Vegas!
Right.
Cut to them at the gas station. Cut to them about falling asleep in the car. Vegas, it's
And
Vegas.
then they see the lights in the horizon.
Finally,
It's
they
calling
get
to
there.
them.
And they have no money, and they have no place to stay, and they have
I
no
took out
plan.
too much money. I'm only gonna put down $100 but even though I brought $300 for some reason.
It was a ploy. If you heard him describing his major plan, they were going to go to this casino, act like a couple of big shots, and then get some stuff for free.
Yeah, by wearing the suits, they think, oh yeah, we're big shots. We're gonna go to the high rolling table.
Yeah.
But then he pulls out his wad of 20s and just putting them down and down and down and down.
No, he doesn't put it down. He counts it over and over.
Right. That's right.
Until he finally hands it to the guy and he says, I can count that for you. He has to count it. He's the dealer. That's kind of his job.
It just shows you how much time I spend in casinos. I didn't know that rule.
But they set up very quickly that Mike's a mess.
Yeah.
Mike is all talk, but he is just such a mess right now that the facade cracks immediately. He's the one with this big plan. We're going to wear the suits. We're going to go to this table. They're going to notice us. And this is my plan. And they're going to give us free shit. And we're getting a hotel room. And we're going to get free food. And then he panics immediately. And he's like, don't you have smaller chips? I only have... No, it's fine. I mean, give me a Glen. One of the Glens. Give me a whiskey.
Right.
And he just has a meltdown at the first test of this process that he has come up with on his own.
Yeah, and I think that's also going to, again, it's the marketing of the movie, or at least what's in my mind about this movie anyway, that these two people are actually high rollers and they are out there trying to really live it up. But it's just, like you said, it's a facade.
And I also think I was confusing this with another movie because I was trying to remember the actual poster in the intro and I went and looked it up. There is another movie that Vince Vaughn and Jon Favreau were in together a few years after this. And that's the poster I'm thinking of, the two of them in the back of a limousine that also suspiciously looks like Las Vegas. I've also never seen that one. I forget the name now, but yeah, I think there's elements of that movie that I actually remember better than Swingers because that one came out when I was older. So there's like elements of both movies blending together in my mind. I genuinely, watching this entire movie, watching Swingers, I'm like, nope, didn't know any of this. Now, I recognize the stuff that was in the trailer, like when Vince Vaughn gets up on the table and starts dancing. I was like, I have seen that little moment.
I recognize that thing, but not from a trailer. But I think other movies trying to imitate that vibe.
I think it's from a Miramax supercut of the 90s is probably what it is, because this is a Miramax movie, and that company had all of these movies in the 90s.
Yeah, and you were reading something about the fact that Jon Favreau took inspiration not only from Tarantino and Scorsese, like they mentioned in the movie, but also Kevin Smith, another Miramax baby.
Oh, yeah. In the 90s, Miramax had all the best shit. They did.
Yeah.
Like, in this span alone, so let's see, 96, 97, they did Shakespeare in Love, which ends up winning Best Picture. They did Good Will Hunting a year later. They did, when did Dogma come out?
99.
99. So that was in there. But in between, this would have been around Chasing Amy in that time frame.
Yep.
They did all the Tarantino movies.
Yeah, they had the indie scene on lock. Like, they were able to get so many of these little indie films to their label. I mean, they didn't do like the really weird stuff that A24 is doing right now.
No.
But in the 90s, if you wanted to sell your independent movie, you went to Miramax.
And a lot of the times it was like this one with Jon Favreau had an idea and he made content for himself. Sometimes that's just how you finally make it. You write a piece on your own and you star in it. Same thing with Good Will Hunting. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon had been working for years. It wasn't until they wrote their own movie that they got attention.
And Kevin Smith wrote Clerks based on his own life. Jon Favreau wrote this movie based on his own life. I mean, that's the easiest shit to do. But I'll tell you this movie definitely has the first time filmmaker syndrome, and he didn't direct the movie, but I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in here that is his own, at least his like, I don't know,
vision.
stage direction. I don't know what you want to call it. But what I mean by that is, man, there's a lot of dialogue in this, and there's a lot of really, really long scenes of dialogue. Like, there's one scene that I wanted to point out here at the casino after they stand up from the tables and they're just kind of talking back and forth. That scene right there, I could not clock it, but I think that might be the longest single shot in the entire movie.
It's possible. Anytime they let Vince Vaughn go, like, just here, the camera is on, go. And that's just Vince Vaughn. Like, how many movies have you seen since this one came out where he is this guy? This is who Vince Vaughn is.
This is his thing.
Yeah, he just talks a mile a minute, and you either love that or you hate it. And in this movie, he's kind of a lot. There are moments where I'm like, okay, I fucking love this character. He's ridiculous, but I'm into it. But there were, like I said, other times where I'm like, stop using your hip 90s slang. I don't know where you got that, but money is not going to happen.
Stop trying to make money a thing, Vince Vaughn.
Stop trying to make money happen. It is not going to happen. But he said it. And then I was like, oh shit, is that where this is from?
Right.
Because there are white bros in America who fucking love swingers and have adopted this personality as their own.
Not only that, but I think the phrase Vegas, baby, Vegas also comes from this movie because they say it like 5 times in the car.
In the beginning, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank God we didn't spend more time in Vegas. I think it would have been a very different experience if they spent more than one day there.
I think it makes it better because they did spend the entire night there and they just kind of go back to their shitty apartments and their shitty lives.
But that's this whole movie. It's just, here's a little day in our life, and we're going to go golfing, and then we're going to go to this party, and then we're going to go to that bar, and then we're going to see the big bad voodoo daddy.
Fucking A, yeah.
And it's like they go out one night into this bar, and it's so packed and claustrophobic.
I love that scene.
They film it in a way that you are really demonstrating this place is wall to wall with bodies.
That's exactly what I wrote down. Like that, the way they shoot that scene is perfect, depicting how crowded a bar could be. Like you got people like kind of undulating in the foreground and in the background, just kind of bouncing off of each other.
Constantly pushing their way past them.
Right.
But then they say, well, let's get out of here. And the one guy who they met there says, yeah, this place is dead anyway.
Right.
And this is a running joke. It happens a few times where they're in this really crowded place. Then they decide to leave and they say, yeah, this is dead anyway. So it's this whole commentary about living in Los Angeles and club scenes and like just the 90s. It's a very 90s movie. Like the fact that the movie is called Swingers. And I've been trying to kind of wrap my head around, why do we call it Swingers? Let's see if we can get to the root. And as it was starting, I was like, this isn't that thing where for like 4 years in the 90s, everybody was really into swing music, is it? And they go to a fucking swing club. So my guess is that is very much what the title of this movie is meant to be.
That's really the only explanation I can give anyway, because the modern connotation of the word swinger is somebody who doesn't do the swing dancing, but they do things with different people who are not their own partner.
They switch partners.
Exactly.
Like swingers. But yeah, the whole movie is about Mike trying to get over his ex-girlfriend. So the through line is he is a wreck of a person who cannot move on from this relationship, and he is driving all of his friends insane. So that's why they keep dragging him out to bars until it fucking gets out of his system.
Yeah, and the background is he is actually from New York. He's a New York comedian who left New York, left his girlfriend behind, and is trying to make it in LA. But there was they don't actually go into what exactly happened between him and Michelle. At one point, I think he says, oh no, I called it off, but then someone else says she called it off, and it's just this weird mess.
But at the very end of the movie, the thing that kicks him over the hill, as it were, is he meets a woman at the swing club.
Yeah.
And the two of them together swing dance, making them swingers. So
Yes.
this is where I'm assuming this title comes from is
Oh, we're still talking about the title.
yes,
Okay.
the catalyst that makes him make the change after we have spent the entire movie watching him be a miserable son of a bitch and ruining every small opportunity that he has had with another woman to just try to move on. It's not until he meets this woman, Heather Graham, at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just trying to get your sense of it. Do you have a better interpretation? Because it feels like they named the movie over something that was really only relevant for 3 or 4 years in Los Angeles in the 90s. And if you weren't there in the 90s, you don't realize how fucking culturally prevalent swing was for that pocket of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't just LA. I mean, it took forever
It was
for
everywhere.
that stuff to bleed over and into where we live, but that's with everything.
But it was in pop culture.
Sure.
My sister went to prom with a guy who wore a fucking zoot suit.
I think I knew that, yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Like, even that was like 2001.
Yeah, why do I know the name the Brian Setzer Orchestra? It's because of this era.
Him, the Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Oh, you had to mention the Cherry Poppin' Daddies. What an unfortunate band name for this band that is both swing and ska at the same time. I don't know how to get over that, but
Squing?
oh God, I hate that.
Yeah, you hate them. Like, those were two musics. They're two forms of music that should never have fused. And they said, no, by God, it will be done.
Everybody has to have a horn section in the 90s.
They already had them. Why not play both genres?
It's like both of these are popular at the same time. Why can't we do both?
How hard do we want to suck?
All right. So, no, this movie does not suck, Betsy. I want to get back to the movie.
Okay.
So stop talking about ska. We're going to be here all night.
It is so culturally relevant to the conversation, though.
It is.
Because I didn't really think they would go to a club that was swing dancing. And then in the opening intro, they're showing these little sequences, like stock footage of people in Los Angeles. Yeah. And I was like, oh, nope, there they are. There's the swing dancers.
Totally. And I actually really like that opening sequence with all of the shitty camera, the photos taken with the shitty cameras.
Yeah, it's
with
like really
with the
dirty.
bad flash and everything. That's what photos looked like back then.
That was the 90s, man.
My folks have an entire bin of those types of photos because they didn't have anything better.
You know,
it didn't exist.
You know, there's kids now who are fascinated with disposable cameras.
I know.
And they are so excited to see their shitty little photos.
And those stupid fucking tiny Polaroids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is this weird subculture of nostalgia for something you never even had. But we did the same thing. We were into swing music in the 90s.
We also had bell bottoms and yeah.
The late 90s were very strange because those two things were happening at the same time. I distinctly remember wearing bell bottoms in 1997 while California was swinging.
All right. Okay. Please.
No, really.
Please,
okay. I'm sorry.
Need to get back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
Swingers.
I
really, really like this movie. I had such a great time watching this, and I think it's because, again, I go back to this is his first time making a movie, and I said it in a previous episode, this might be the only time you ever get to make a movie. So if you are actually given the money to do it, go and do it. Make the movie that you absolutely want to make.
It is your unfiltered version.
Yeah. Who cares if you put in the stupid references to Tarantino and have the spinning camera shot of you at the table with your friends and then talk about the Reservoir Dogs scene at the beginning of that movie and then imitate the fucking thing in the next scene.
And then there's like Goodfellas references, and then they do a Goodfellas bit walking through the casino kind of a thing. Yeah, there's a lot of just little, here's a moment, here's an idea I have, and then we're going to switch it to a completely different idea, and then we're going to switch it to a completely different idea. And it took me a while to get into it because some of the ideas I liked better than others. And it doesn't really flow together, but also it flows together completely perfectly.
I think it has something to do with the fact that Los Angeles is a very large, disconnected city, and you could literally have a different experience every night of the year.
And this is just the culture of living there.
Yes.
I also commented about when they're driving around, all 5 guys got in their individual cars and followed each other around.
Not drunk at all.
We're not carpooling. We've all been drinking. Nobody has a better plan than we all have to move our vehicles and then whip out the
clubs. Synchronized club attachment.
Oh my God.
And they all followed each other very, very closely.
Maybe that's why they were doing it. Not so much that they needed to take the vehicles from spot to spot, but they all knew they were driving after a little bit of alcohol imbibing. And if they all go together, they kind of protect each other as a pack. Or it's the symbolic manifestation of the other thing he's doing here, which is rat pack culture.
It is.
There's 5 guys in the rat pack. There's 5 guys in this group. And so when they're traveling together in their cars, they are also a pack.
I think it's also the self-elevating nature of guys sometimes. Like, they're a much bigger deal than what they actually are. So when they go to the packed club or like the packed bar, and then this party is overrun with people, like, oh, all these people, I know I don't want to have anything to do with them. I'm above it. I'm going to leave and go to some other place.
Yeah.
When in reality, there's people here that you actually know. You can actually have a good time if you just hang out.
Oh, yeah. This group of guys is so full of shit.
Oh, sure.
They're so full of shit. And they talk incessantly about nothing. Like, they are the bros before we called them bros. Like, we didn't use that word in the 90s.
You're right.
But this is why I wanted to smack Vince Vaughn around a little bit, because it's just like, dude, everything is a fucking game. Like, when he's trying to pick up women, he's like, don't look at him. Is she looking? Is she looking?
Yeah.
Oh, it's on. And then he goes over, talks to this woman for like 3 minutes, and then tears up her phone number. Like, it's this whole thing. And then at the end of the movie, that's a fucking great, stupid way to end it.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, hold up. I really care about what you're saying, but there's this woman making absolute eyes at me. And he's like playing with his napkin and looking all cutesy. And then she's like, she's coming over. And she picks up her baby and walks out. She wasn't even looking at him.
Right.
So it's the fucking commentary that you are so in your own head that you think every woman who glances in your direction is staring at you.
He also says something in that same scene that, oh man, I could have encountered this woman like 3 months ago, and I told her I joined the circus or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I have no idea. I tell women everything and anything.
Yeah, and that's really the dynamic here between these two characters, Trent and Mike. I'm the Mike character in this relationship. Not between you and me, but in this duo.
In that dynamic.
In that dynamic, I'm the Mike character. Because at the beginning of the movie, Mike, he doesn't want to be this guy. He doesn't want to be the womanizing asshole that Trent is.
But he calls all women skanks. That's the dynamic, is Trent is saying beautiful babies, and Mike is calling everybody a skank.
Yeah,
I don't want to be with these skanks.
I don't want to be with these skanks that you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then he still goes along with it. He still goes back to this gal's trailer in Vegas and has a grand old time, just having a good conversation.
About his ex-girlfriend.
It turns into that because he just can't.
How are you? He keeps giving an honest answer.
Yes.
What are you thinking about?
Yes, that's me. But I really do like how the two ladies in that situation, they kind of talk to each other, say, oh, he said it's been 6 months. They kind of go back and forth with each other a little bit. And one of them says, oh, yeah, that's so sweet. And he comes back out after making the phone call and there's no messages on him on his machine. And they'll both get up and hug him.
Meanwhile, Vince Vaughn is sitting in a towel because he was just about to get some. I think all of us have a friend like that. Like when we are in our 20s, we all had one friend who just had that ability. They had no investment in other people's feelings if they just wanted to get something that night, or like they will throw you to the wolves because they're like, hello, I'm the wingman. And by that, I mean, I'm going to take your wings and make you fly.
Yeah, he even says the line of, okay, when he's at the party, he goes up to the short-haired girl to get her phone number, but they play the Jaws music as in he's the shark going in there for the kill. They're kind of cutting back to different things that the woman is saying, but then Vince Vaughn is just smiling and nodding, smiling and nodding. Not even processing it. It's just he's ignoring everything that she's actually saying just to get the phone number to prove that he can.
Yeah, he's not actually interested in this woman. Or is it that he got over there and found out she was a lot, so he's just like, I need to leave this conversation now?
Yes.
Well, I was reading the trivia, and I pointed out to you, of course, the thing we were talking about in the introduction. Because Jaws is used in this movie, because that theme is used, Steven Spielberg had to okay the licensing of that music. And while he was on the set visiting swingers, is where he met Vince Vaughn and cast him for The Lost World.
There you go.
There is
it's all about who you know.
A natural progression from one right to the next.
Speaking of going on to the next, I think, Betsy, this is a good time for an ad, so we're going to play that. We'll be right back.
Feeling run down, lethargic, a little bloated?
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
Well, have I got the prescription for you?
Oh, no, not another pill. I take enough of those that I find in the dumpster behind the Burger King.
Oh, no. It's better than any dumpster pills. It's patreon.com/neverseenitpod.
I'm interested. Tell me more.
It's premium content from those jokers at Never Seen It. They have 4 other weekly shows, plus bonuses.
I've heard of those guys. They're like super talented and funny.
And sexy. Don't forget sexy.
Oh, then I'll definitely check them out. Thanks, disembodied voice.
Anytime.
So besides the very engaging plot, Betsy, I know there's different moments here that we need to talk about before we end this. One thing that I needed to kind of point out here is something that really only relates to me because of me and video games.
Oh, no.
I love these couple of scenes here where the guys are just sitting down playing NHL 93 on the Genesis.
They are doing that. This is a game I'm not familiar with. But
No.
Like when he's handing off the controller, I'm like, I know that Genesis controller because I was a Genesis kid.
Of course. And the guys are talking like guys of this age would talk. NHL 93, which I had to look this up, by the way, because I didn't really play a lot of NHL games back in the day. When they're talking, they're about, oh yeah, this is the version where they took out the fighting, but they kept the blood. But then the game after that, they also took out NHL 94 is when they took out the blood. But actually, to my knowledge, NHL 94 is the best NHL game of all time.
I would not know.
I know, but I had to mention it. And just the way these guys are talking and the fact when Sue pulls a fucking gun on these guys entering the club that one night, he gets into it and they have a fight afterwards. But then after Mike has his little pity party, he goes back over there and starts to hang out. And those guys that he pulled the gun on are there hanging out.
Yeah, they ran into them somewhere else and they worked it out. And they're actually pretty cool dudes. And so now they all play video games together.
Sure.
Again, why? I don't know. That's what happens in Los Angeles sometimes.
That's what happens when you're in your early 20s.
Late 20s, let's be real.
Honestly,
these guys are
how
in
old
their...
do you think they actually are?
They're absolutely in their late 20s because he makes some mention about he met his girlfriend in college and they were together for 6 years, which puts him at least at 26. 26 or 7. That's where I'd place him.
At the latest, I would say, because number one, they look a lot younger than what you say.
Well, and Vince Vaughn might be because he's telling that story at the beginning where he's talking about a casting call.
Yeah.
And he says he's 24 when that happened, which could have been fucking 6 weeks ago for all I know.
Right. But my point to all that is, what else do you have to do when you're that age and you live by yourself? You hang out with your friends playing video games. You didn't see anybody with a cell phone. You didn't see anybody with a computer, let alone fucking internet.
No, they were lucky to have electricity. They all drive shitty cars.
They're lucky to have a car and running water in their shitty apartments.
All their money goes to bars and drinking. Like, honest to God. Like, they had 3 beers or a 6-pack of beer and a pack of cigarettes delivered.
Right.
That was a thing you could do in the 90s.
Proto DoorDash.
I'm sure
in bigger cities they had stuff like that.
Yeah,
they had messenger services and delivery services in big cities.
But it's like, I was expecting food. They were ordering food. No, they're ordering beer and cigarettes. One of the moments I wanted to bring up was after Mike successfully gets a girl's phone number and he gets back to his apartment and it is 2:30 in the morning.
Indeed.
And his first thought, that is, this is a good idea, is I'm going to call her now. But there's a part of him that isn't wrong because all of these people are just up all fucking night.
Yeah.
So they're in their 20s. They're all bar hopping. It is not out of the realm of possibility they're going to be awake at 2:30.
But before he actually calls her, he's just sitting on the couch, just kind of contemplating to himself, looking at the clock. I'm still very much awake. I don't think there's at all a thought in his head that, oh, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not going to call her. He's just trying to think of an excuse to not do it or do it. I don't know.
All I know is once he starts, he opens a fucking can of worms. And this was the most uncomfortable moment in the entire goddamn movie because he calls and the first time it's fine. He leaves a message and he says, hey, it's me. I met you tonight. Here's my phone number. But he's concerned because the message cuts off on the last digit.
Right.
So it's reasonable for him to call back and try to give his phone number. But because he keeps like screwing up, this is like the shortest answering machine message on the planet. He calls her 6 times.
By the end of it?
6 times?
By the end of it, he's gone through an entire relationship and he's breaking up with her.
And she has been sitting there listening because she finally picks up and says, never call me again, as she should, because he could not have fucked that up any worse than he did. Speaking of answering machines, that's another one of those, like, here's a random moment that we never repeat. Like, what is the tone of this movie? Because when he gets back to his apartment in the beginning of the movie, checks his messages, the answering machine talks to him.
Right.
It says, you're doing great, buddy. You just keep trying. That kind of shit.
You're better off without her or whatever the fuck.
There are so many fish in the sea. That's it. It's just that one moment. And then we move on like it never happened. It is a bizarre thing to be in this movie.
It's another trope of first-time filmmakers doing stuff like that. Like, I have this idea. I want this to happen. I want this to be in my movie. Here it is. We never do it again. And yeah, Betsy, there are just, speaking of answering machines, there are so many extremely outdated things that were just a part of life back then. During the break, I had to mention the phrase phone card.
Yeah, I have a calling card, a phone card.
It's an 800 number. It's not going to cost you anything.
Because nobody had cell phones.
Nobody had a cell phone.
Not one person in this movie has a cell phone.
No.
We always look for those things when we're watching movies from like the late 80s and into the 90s. And it didn't even occur to me until the movie was finished. Not one person. These are all like the brokest broke asses
No.
in Los Angeles.
Also, I just remembered at the end of the movie when he's having his phone call with his ex.
She finally called.
She finally calls him and he gets a beep on his phone. Betsy, that's call waiting. Remember call waiting?
Strictly speaking, it kind of still exists. Like if you were on a call,
Yeah.
like on your iPhone, it'll give you the option to
You can
put
swap.
someone on hold.
Yeah, you can swap.
So-
But back in the day, you had to pay for that and you had to press the right button
Yeah.
on your phone. I never got it to work.
Call waiting.
Yeah. I think my folks actually paid for it at one point, or maybe they didn't pay for it. They got a free trial or some shit. I never got it to work.
Honestly, I know that I remember times being on the phone and you'd hear the beep, but I don't know that I ever put anybody on hold. I think I just said, I've got another call. Goodbye.
Right. And you just switched over.
All right, you're done
I'm
now.
going to call you back.
I'm too stupid to figure out how to put you on hold and come back. I know how to reach you. I'll just call you back later.
Right. Yeah, such an anachronism for 2024. That stuff just doesn't exist anymore.
It's also the kind of plot point that is a lot harder to do in
Yes.
modern times.
Yes.
Everybody
You can't do that now.
Everybody had a landline in the 90s and call waiting and answering machines.
And just think about the lack of caller ID.
Yep. You could still prank call people. It was the golden ages.
But now if you meet somebody at a bar and you want to exchange actual phone numbers, you take their phone from them and you put it into their phone as a contact. That's what I see people do.
Yep.
But people don't actually exchange phone numbers anymore. They exchange fucking social media, that Snapchat and TikTok and shit like that.
Look me up on Twitter or something. That kind of stuff.
Even that doesn't exist anymore. That's for the olds like us, Betsy. We're on Twitter still.
Okay, I'm so sorry that we are old people. Whatever the young people are using, look me up on the TikToks and the Snappy Chats.
We're not on those things.
But yeah, they're doing a thing here called meeting people in bars, and then they write down with a pen onto a piece of paper or a napkin their number for the landline that they will not get access to until they return to their homes, or they have to call their own number to check their messages, because that's what we used to do 30 years
Betsy,
ago.
I was waiting to see if anybody had a beeper. There's no beepers.
No. It was a choice to eliminate that stuff from this movie, I bet, because you could have. There were plenty of people. They existed.
But again, it would also cost a lot of money.
Yeah. And these people are unemployed actors who spend all their money on booze.
Who the fuck needs to beep them anyway?
Agents.
What agents? They don't have fucking agents.
The people who book Goofy for Disney.
Sure. But there is one final scene here that we haven't mentioned yet. It is the scene where Vince Vaughn is at this bar, and this is the scene where Mike goes up to the bar and gets the number from the olive lady. She's the olive lady because she ate like half a dozen olives during that entire scene.
She loves olives.
But it's a scene where Vince Vaughn is just telling Mike that you're like this big bear and you want to go after this bunny. You want to try to kill the bunny. And in this metaphor, the bunny is a woman that you're trying to sleep with. And he just says, yeah, you're a big bear with big claws and you're just trying to go after the bunny, but all you're doing is you're just nudging the bunny and nudging the bunny. You don't know what to do with your big claws.
And you've got teeth and you could just tear it apart, but you don't know how.
Right.
You freeze.
Apparently, that entire thing is almost a verbatim thing that Vince Vaughn actually told Jon Favreau at one time in his life.
There were moments watching this movie where I was convinced that Vince Vaughn didn't actually have a script. Like, there were scenes that felt so natural that they felt improvised.
Probably because he at one time said the words himself.
Yeah.
That's why it felt natural.
Yeah, there's a very delicate line between what he was improvising and what he was just reciting vaguely from memory. Because it's probably not verbatim to the script as it was written.
No.
There's some freedom there to do it in character. But yeah, like we said earlier, this is just who Vince Vaughn is.
Yeah.
I buy him as this guy because he is this guy.
Before we hop off the Vince Vaughn train, I do want to say people give Vince Vaughn a bad rap for being maybe a bad actor or just this guy. He can only play a role like this. Bullshit. I know a lot of people give shit about the second season of True Detective. Vince Vaughn is actually really, really good in that season.
I don't really remember that much. I'm
Betsy.
sorry. He's not the one I remember from that season.
No.
I kind of forgot. Like you were saying True Detective, I was like, wait, what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he isn't that.
I remember him very, very well, and I remember really liking his performance.
I think he doesn't always get the right roles. Like he doesn't always get cast in anything outside of this box. People see him as this and they cast him as this.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he can't do more. It's just we haven't really seen it because he's made so much fucking money playing guys like this in Wedding Crashers and The Internship and, you know, what the fuck else? That one where he has inadvertently fathered 200 children.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but he's like a sperm donor and he finds out that, you know, through a problem at the lab, they used his sperm for all of the donations.
Can't say I remember that one.
Because he just plays the same guy in every movie, so all the movies kind of blur together.
I don't like actors getting typecast. Even though these actors are actually saying yes to these roles, come on. Try harder.
Which is why I appreciate that Jon Favreau has done more. Like this movie he wrote, he didn't direct it, but he does more directing now than he ever did. I went through his IMDb, and even now, I don't know what I know him from. He just sort of manifested to me one day where I just knew who Jon Favreau was.
You know, Betsy, I think eventually I want to watch the movie Chef that he made.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that's really good.
Kind of in between all the MCU stuff that he was up to and the Mandalorian stuff that he was doing. I understand that the Chef is really, really good.
I have also heard this. You know, unlike Vince Vaughn, I think Jon Favreau has been doing lots of different kinds of things, whether he's in front of the camera or behind the camera.
Yeah.
The man made Elf.
Right.
Elf, which is very different from this movie. It's also very different from Iron Man. He's done, you know, that fucking, I think, couples retreat with Vince Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
I think he had something to do with that one.
I saw an interview with Jon Favreau once where he was talking about just his career and whatnot. And he said something to the effect of, yeah, Elf, it was really successful, but I didn't really care that much about that because I had to make the movie in New York and I wanted to be in LA. That's it. He only will ever make movies if he can do them in LA.
It's also something that's real to this movie because he is a New Yorker who moves to LA. Mm-hmm. There's some passing mention from Heather Graham who says, I was in Wisconsin. I was today years old when I found out she's from Milwaukee. I was also today years old when I found out Vince Vaughn was born in Minneapolis. All these Midwesterners, but they all have one thing in common. They all went to Los Angeles and now they like Los Angeles. Not everybody who goes to LA becomes money, as they say.
We know people who gave it a shot and they couldn't make it. And that's fine.
It is a very different kind of city. It only exists for one kind of industry. And if you are not gonna wake up and eat, sleep, and breathe that industry,
even if you do,
why are you there?
Even if you do, it's a very good chance that you're still not gonna make it in any capacity, whether you're a big star or just a bit player in a whole lot of different things.
Yeah. You might get to be an extra for the rest of your days. And you can make a career doing that. There's people who are fucking like extras and seat fillers. And they make money that way.
There's people who are probably on the Law and Order shows as an extra, like every other weekend.
Yeah,
when they're filming that stuff. But anyway, all right, that is gonna do it for our second entry in the '90s cult classics series. Betsy, I really like this one. I think this is a lot more qualifying of being a cult classic than Starship Troopers was. So I'm glad we chose this one. I'm excited for the next one. But first, we're going to read an email that we got from our super fan, Stephanie, about Starship Troopers. She says, I watched this for the first time just a couple months ago. It was very fun. Not great, but definitely fun. The war and bugs remind me of Ender's Game, though I do see some Star Wars as well.
Yeah, we had a long conversation in that episode about the influence. It's kind of just sci-fi in general.
Sure.
Like they all bleed into each other.
They all take inspiration from
Yeah.
each other in and out. But I've never seen Ender's Game. Have you?
Nope.
All right. One to put on the list. She says, everyone in the cast is so young. Yeah. It is really interesting to have a single global government. There are lots of aspects of the story that I found interesting. Maybe I should read the book. Well, Paul Verhoeven didn't read it, so why should you?
He started to read it. He skimmed it.
Sure.
So Stephanie, our advice to you, skim the book.
She says, Paul Verhoeven loves his fake commercials, and honestly, so do I. Overall, I really like this movie. Love you guys from a superfan, Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. If you would like to be like Stephanie and be a super fan as well, you can do so by sending us an email, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear about all of your picks for your favorite cult classic movies, whether they're from the 90s or not.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. You can also follow us on all the social media stuff that we are on.
None of that nonsense the kids are playing with.
The ones that that all the kids are on these
we
days.
are not on the things the cool people follow.
I guess
I'm sorry.
not. I guess not. But yeah, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we're all on all that stuff, including Blue Sky. That's the one new thing that we're on. And of course, patreon.com/neverseenitpod is where you can go to get 4 extra shows per month for $5 a month, plus some extra bonus content that we put out every so often.
Yeah, and this episode is going to be coming out on my birthday, so you should maybe write us a review or share us with your friends.
For Betsy's birthday.
It's my birthday.
Go to iTunes, go to Spotify.
If you've listened to this whole episode, you know that it's my birthday, and you don't want to disappoint me on my birthday.
Rate us 5 stars on
5.
Spotify and iTunes and make Betsy's birthday the
Yeah.
best one ever.
Best one ever. A 5-star birthday.
All right. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. But before we go, Betsy, what are we covering next week?
Well, Trent, we're still in the 90s.
Yep.
As we have mentioned, it's Oops All 90s with this cult series. And we are going to be doing one from 1999. We are covering Mystery Men.
A movie I've never seen, but I've heard so much about.
It's time, Trent. Next week, you will have seen it.
Mystery Men is up next week. But until then, my name is Trent.
My name is Betsy.
And we'll catch you next time for another episode of Never Seen It.
Bye, you beautiful babies.